Your silence isn't a void, it's the earthquake that knocks the mask off. Stay to the end of the video, because I'm going to expose 9 covert plans the narcissist runs after no contact, plus 3 boundary phrases you can use right away to protect your peace. You've done the hardest part. Cut off, gone silent, stepped out of the spiral. But through Carl Jung's lens, this is exactly when the persona, the perfect mask, starts to crack, and the shadow, the fear, soaked, power-hungry, inner darkness surges up to take over. The narcissist can't stand a power vacuum. Projection makes them pin every sin on you while they're actually wrestling with their own emptiness. So after no contact, it's usually not they've forgotten you, but a sequence of moves, probing your boundaries, clawing back control, rewriting the narrative, propping up their image while torching your reputation, and triggering your emotions to siphon supply from you again. Jung calls this exit path individuation, returning to your true self, stepping out of the role others tried to force on you. When you stop responding, their bloated ego reels. They may go loudly silent or pop up with vague signals, all just to gauge whether your door is still ajar. Once you grasp that shadow to manipulation, to projection mechanism, you'll stop personalizing their behavior and see the most important thing: your peace is no longer in their hands. Stay to the end. You'll see each secret move decoded through Jungian thinking, understand why no contact works so well it drives them mad, and get the boundary lines short, calm, non-argumentative to protect your peace today. 1. Power-jolt from silence, reclaiming emotional supply. Your silence is like a sudden blackout in the system the narcissist is used to running. They live on the fuel of your attention, your eyes on them, your heart reacting to them, your schedule orbiting them, and when that supply cuts off, the persona, the seductive mask, starts to crack, while the shadow, the power-hungry darkness, lunges to yank the breaker by any means. So you'll see refined bait, a just remembered a memory text, a perfectly timed crisis, an apology that sounds very mature, or a triangulation move flaunting someone new to spark jealousy. Under Jung's light, this isn't love, it's addiction to reaction. They don't care whether it's love or anger so long as you respond. They still occupy the center of your universe. The game is to pull you away from individuation, the process of returning to your true self, so you go back to playing the role of energy provider. The antidote is to change the playing field from emotion to boundaries. For every lure, use the 3P protocol. Pause, wait 24-48 hours, do not react on impulse. Pattern, identify the pattern. Is this the old cycle? Idealize, pull close, then control. Protect the boundary through action. You can reply briefly or not at all. I'm not available for personal contact. Any necessary matters, please use the official channel or simply don't respond. Gray rock, short, neutral, no emotional data. At the same time, tighten privacy, block alt accounts, turn off location sharing, limit stories, close back doors like old emails or rarely used messaging apps. Log any unusual contacts so you have evidence if legal protection is needed. When they deploy nostalgia, don't debate the past, return to the present. I prioritize peace and will not return to old patterns. When they stage an emergency, verify facts and route through a trusted third party or the proper authorities. Don't let projection turn your compassion into a pretext to re-enter the loop. Each time you refuse to restore power, your brain lays new pathways, calm, clarity, self-command. And each time the narcissist fails to extract a reaction, their manipulation system loses a link. The simple, strong truth is, disciplined silence isn't punishing anyone. It's how you stop subsidizing their shadow and start funding yourself. 2. Power ambush. Testing whether you can still be controlled. They won't blow in like a storm. They'll scout, probe, and calibrate like a patient predator. After no contact, the power ambush begins with small tests, an email that needs quick confirmation, A message that we should have an adult conversation, a roundabout rumor that forces you to speak up. Through Carl Jung's lens, this is where the persona, reasonable, courteous, is put front stage, while the shadow, hungry to dominate, runs the controls backstage. They don't necessarily want you back. They want to know whether your will can still be bent. Their ego inflation can't tolerate you making decisions without their permission. Cue projection. Labels like selfish, childish, avoidant, which are really their own helplessness when they're no longer directing the script. These probes target soft spots: financial responsibilities, pets, belongings, paperwork, or social morality. Adults don't go silent, but the other person is suffering. Some will stage emergencies to force a reflex. You need to change the playing field from emotion to procedure. Use the arc. Frame. Acknowledge, note receipt without conceding. Redirect, move it to a safe official channel. Close, end the loop. Example: I've received this. Please use only this email. When there are specific items, I'll review them during business hours. Avoid jade. Justify, argue, defend, explain. Don't justify, don't argue, don't defend, don't explain. Every extra word is data they can spin. Apply the broken record technique. One short message, repeated, same tone. I'm not engaging in personal contact. Please respect the boundary. If communication is unavoidable, shared child, legal matters, set parameters, time windows, public location, third-party handoff, written, only, no surprise calls. In parallel, build a protection ecosystem. Save screenshots, enable two-factor authentication, separate financial accounts, inform a few trusted people about the new boundaries. When they use triangulation, pulling in a third party, respond with the person-issue channel structure. Thanks for relaying. I handle item A with B through this email only. If they threaten your reputation, calmly collect evidence and don't counterattack publicly. Methodical silence makes the seams of their persona show. At a deeper level, Jung calls this individuation. You withdraw energy from the old script and return it to a healthy ego, where boundaries don't require the consent of someone who profited from chaos. Remember the key. They don't need your love. They need your reaction. Each time you stick to process, you teach your nervous system a new truth. I decide the pace, the channel, and the level of access. And that is how power returns to its rightful owner. This content is educational and not a substitute for therapy. Please prioritize personal and legal safety when applying it. Silent rage. Retaliation, because you dared to leave. Silent rage doesn't explode into shouting, it creeps like a leaking current that numbs what you're rebuilding. Through Carl Jung's lens, after you leave, the narcissistic injury pierces the swollen ego. The persona, the polite mask, is still on display. But the shadow, the hurt, power-hungry darkness, is at the wheel. They feel humiliated that you dared to decide without their permission. So anger mutates into quiet payback. Whisper campaigns, online fabrication, accidentally exposing private info, using others to seed doubt, or staging emergencies to drag you back onto the emotional stage. You don't need to answer with anger. You need to switch the field from emotion to structure. Use the SAW frame. Stay offline intentionally. Reduce your presence where they can trigger you. Disable stories, location. Observe. Watch the pattern without judgment so you don't get pulled into the old script. Archive. Save evidence. Screenshots, timestamps, content, witnesses. Report. When lines are crossed, contact the platform, an attorney, or authorities. Safety first. For required communication, apply gray rock plus broken record. Short, neutral, repetitive, no detours into arguments. Example: I only handle necessary matters via this email during business hours. Avoid jade, justify, argue, defend, explain. The more you explain, the more material they have to spin. Socially, fortify your circle of trust. Set clear media boundaries. Ask mutuals to route all contact through one channel. If someone pushes you to clear the air, reduce exposure for now. Digitally, enable two-factor authentication. Change passwords. Check shared devices. Audit cloud permissions. Don't forget backdoors like old emails, alt accounts, or abandoned group chats. Psychologically, remember projection is core strategy. They'll paste their cruelty and chaos onto you. Naming it disarms half its power. When they bait you with, "I'm the victim," anchor to verifiable reality instead of arguing motives. This is what I observed. This is my boundary. Here's the next step in writing. When they flaunt being happier than ever, it's usually a mirror move meant to shake. You treat it as data that the script continues, not as truth about your worth. Jung calls your path individuation, reclaiming energy from someone else's shadow and returning to your healthy center. Silent rage will look for channels. Your job is to dam it with boundaries, shift communication channels, and plant daily habits of peace. You don't have to beat them in debate. You only have to win yourself in discipline. And that's the one retaliation they can't stand. This content is educational and not a substitute for legal or clinical advice. Prioritize personal safety when applying. Undermining your confidence, making you doubt the no-contact decision. They don't attack head-on. They undermine tapping the softest spot, your faith in your own decision. After no contact, the narcissist often flips into editor mode, rewriting the story so you wonder, did I go too far? Through Jung's lens, the persona, reasonable, kind, is wheeled out as a prop while the shadow, afraid, addicted to power, pulls the strings. They use projection to stick labels on you, ungrateful, avoidant, immature, then enlist acquaintances to urge you to let them have a final word or set moral traps. Good people forgive. The goal isn't dialogue. The goal is wobble. Because once you second-guess no contact, the door is already ajar. How to diffuse it? Shift from emotional appraisal to evidentiary appraisal. Use the valley, D, anchor. Validate, self-acknowledge, what I went through was real. Anchor. Tie back to your recorded reasons. List 5 concrete pieces of evidence that led to no-contact texts, events, consequences. Label. Name the tactics. Hoovering, gaslighting, triangulation once named. They lose power. Inventory. Audit the present. Since no contact, am I sleeping better, less anxious, clearer boundaries? Decide, make today's micro-decision. Maintain no contact for 7 more days and reassess. Avoid jade. Don't justify, argue, defend, or explain. Every explanation is fuel for a fresh control attempt. Apply a 72-hour rule to any urgent contact. No instant replies. After 72 hours, if still necessary, legal shared child, respond in writing, 2-3 sentences max, strictly within scope. Create a reality anchor board somewhere visible. 1. 3 core reasons you left. 2. 3 signs you're better since no contact. 3 people to contact when you wobble. Trusted friends, therapist. Regarding public chatter, let facts speak. Calmly log evidence. Don't clap back publicly. Your consistency makes the seams of their persona show. Sample reply, if you must say anything. I'm choosing peace and will keep my boundary. Any necessary matters can go through this email. Internally, notice which complexes got triggered. Fear of loneliness, guilt, need for validation. That's your shadow. Hold it with small daily practices. 4 to 6 breathing, 10 minutes of journaling, 1 nourishing act, a walk, a few pages of reading. Individuation, in Jung's spirit, isn't about hating anyone. It's returning to a healthy center where your boundaries don't require permission from someone who benefited from chaos. Each time you choose facts over drama, you pour more concrete into the foundation of self-trust. And once the foundation is solid, every drill bit goes dull. Staging the public theater. preserving the image at all costs. They set up an entire stage of public opinion to keep performing after you've dropped the curtain. The script is, I'm the misunderstood one. The props are the good things I once did. The audience is mutual friends and social media. The goal isn't truth, it's image. Through Carl Jung's lens, this is when the persona, a moral mask, is thickened to cover the shadow, a control-hungry self that fears exposure, while projection turns their faults into a story about you, unstable, ungrateful, cruel. They often move first, half-truth confessions, a sprinkle of selective evidence, tears about being abandoned, and triangulation to legitimate the script. This tactic hits an instinctual need in us. To be vindicated once you step on stage to explain, you legitimize the play and hand them more material to spin. The counter isn't rhetoric, it's cutting power to the stage with a structured story firewall. Use facts. Facts say, only when necessary, what can be verified. Archive, keep systematic records, screenshots, timestamps, witnesses, channels, set a single communication channel in writing. At fixed hours. Transparency to self, be transparent with yourself. Write down 3 reasons you left and 5 signs you're healthier since no contact. Safety prioritize legal, personal safety, and consult professionals when needed. Execute with 3 techniques. 1. Broken record, a single boundary line, repeated, tone unchanged. I don't share my private life online. Any necessary matters, please use this email. 2. Gray rock brief, neutral, no emotional seasoning. 3. Delayed response, wait 72 hours before responding to any urgent pressure so you're not dragged into their staged rhythm. With messengers, use the person-issue channel structure. Thanks for passing that along. I only handle item A with B via this email. Avoid jade, justify, argue, defend, explain. The more you justify, the more raw footage they have to edit. Digitally, do PR hygiene. Lock down privacy. Turn off stories. Location. Audit access to shared albums. Check devices once shared. Don't fire back in their comment threads. Every public trace is a spark on a stage they control. Socially, build a circle of trust. 3 people who know the full truth and can serve as witnesses, reference points. For everyone else, let your consistency speak over time. Remember that individuation in Jung's spirit isn't proving you're right to the crowd. It's withdrawing energy from the play and returning to your healthy center. When you stick to facts, their stage slowly goes dark. The persona shows its seams, the shadow loses its audience, and the image they're desperate to preserve becomes a heavy mask they alone must carry. This content is educational and not a substitute for legal, clinical advice. Always prioritize safety. Testing the boundary lock. Signal check hoovering. Signal checking is the most refined form of hoovering. Not a loud plea to get back together, but testing your boundary with micro bumps to measure whether your door is still ajar. A like on an old post, a wrong number text, an email to wrap up paperwork, a favor relayed through a mutual, even a perfectly timed emergency, all are thermometers for your reactivity. Through Jung's lens, the shadow treats your boundary as a dare, while the persona wears a polite, remorseful, mature look to legitimize contact. The motive isn't healthy connection, but data extraction. Do you still care? Still feel guilty? Still willing to concede? Neutralize it with a protocol rather than emotion. Try radar. Recognize. Spot the pattern. Is this the old cycle? Does it smell like bait, a pity hoover, or triangulation? Assess, weigh risk and any legal, practical obligations. Shared child contracts. Decide default to no response. If you must respond, keep it written only and strictly within scope. Act. Gray rock plus broken record with one short, neutral, repeating line. I handle necessary matters via this email during business hours. Record, log it, screenshots, time, channel. Avoid jade. Justify, argue, defend, explain. The more you explain, the more fuel you give the new storyline. Tighten digital boundary hygiene. Block alt accounts, turn off location, and read receipts. Remove access to shared albums, drives, change passwords. Enable 2FA audit devices once shared. Create email filters for bait keywords. Urgent, last time, close the file. With messengers, use the person issue channel frame. Thanks for relaying. I handle item A with B via this email only. No private meetups, no surprise calls, no talk to get closure. Neurophysiologically, don't let the urge to reply steer you off course. Do 4-6 breathing for 2 minutes. Ride the urge for 20 minutes. Then review the decision after 24 hours. Write an anchor card where you'll see it. 3 reasons you left. 5 signs you're healthier since no contact. 2 default reply lines. Remember that probing hoovers often borrow projection. They label you cold or ungrateful to unlock guilt. Return to facts instead of self-justifying. If there are signs of stalking, threats, or impersonation, prioritize safety. Report to platforms. Consult an attorney, authorities, alert family, work. At Jungian depth, each time you don't open the door, you withdraw energy from someone else's shadow and return it to your healthy ego. That's individuation. Every failed bait weakens their belief. I still control you, while you pour another layer of concrete into the foundation of your peace. Watching from the shadows, collecting data to manipulate. Watching from the shadows is the tactic they use when direct access is gone. Standing outside the window of your life to gather data who interacts with you, where you go, your mood, whether there's someone new, when you might feel vulnerable, and then using that data to plan manipulation. Through Carl Jung's lens, this is when the persona, the courteous mask that just wants to know you're okay, hides the shadow, a control-hungry self terrified of being forgotten. Projection shows up when they label you cold or ungrateful to justify snooping. Don't mistake this for care, it's reconnaissance. They use burner accounts, flying monkeys, mutuals they've manipulated, nudging comments under old posts, accidental check-ins, phone calls, under the pretext of verification, even probing your work calendar, shared albums, or previously synced devices. The goal: read your life's rhythm to time a Hoover re-entry, a reputation hit, or a guilt trap for maximum effect. Defense isn't rhetoric, it's information discipline. Build a bastion like a fortress. B. Block list. Comprehensive blocking, including alts, old emails, unknown numbers, and disabled read receipts. A. Audit. Inventory digital traces. Privacy on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, shared albums, drives, calendars, devices once logged in. Revoke sessions. Enable 2FA. Change passwords via a manager. Review third-party app access. S. Separate. Split work versus personal channels. Create one single channel for required obligations. Co-parenting, legal. No scattered texting. T. Triage. 24-72-hour rule for any urgent outreach. Handle in writing only, within scope. I. Isolate. Protect sensitive info. Turn off location. No real-time geotags. Delay post 24-48 hours. Shrink. Close friends. O. Obfuscate. Blur your signals. Don't let routines, routes, or your new address become a map. N. Notify network. Tell your trusted circle, 3 people, the boundaries. Ask them not to relay messages or photos and to forward any suspicious contact to you. With messengers, reply using person issue channel. Thanks for passing this along. I only handle item A with B via email X. Avoid jade, justify, argue, defend, explain. The more you explain, the more emotional data you leak. If you see impersonation, harassment, or stalking, preserve evidence, report to platforms, and consult legal authorities, safety first. Internally, don't perform for an invisible audience. That's the trap that pulls you away from individuation, the return to your healthy center that Jung describes. Each time you withhold signals, you withdraw energy from their stage. Each time you practice information discipline, their surveillance web loses a link. Let consistency speak for you. I don't share my private life. Any necessary matters can go through this email. When information starves, manipulation scripts starve. And in that darkness, you're the one with the switch. This content is educational. Always prioritize personal and legal safety. Ringing the emotional bell, provoking you to react so they can refuel. Ringing the emotional bell is their go-to move when they can't reach your life directly. No dialogue, just activation. A snide comment on social, a vague text, a perfectly timed photo with a new love, even a car crawling past your house. The goal isn't connection. It's fuel your anger, your grief, your urge to explain. Through Jung's lens, the shadow runs through your complexes, emotional knots, fear of abandonment, fear of being misunderstood, the need for recognition. When a complex is struck, your nervous system wants to fire back. They know this and turn you into an instrument to play the same tune. You vibrate, they recharge. The antidote isn't convincing them, it's regulating your nervous system and moving the game from emotion to boundaries. Try stop. Stop hands off, no reply for 24, 72 hours. Take a breath, inhale 4, exhale 6 for 2 minutes to down. Shift, observe, scan body and mind. Which complex just got hit? Proceed only if necessary and in writing. Pair with the 4D add-on. Delay, downshift, slower communication, brief neutral lines, decline, polite refusal, I'm not available for personal discussion. Document, keep evidence. For required contact, use gray rock plus broken record. One sentence, repeated, no emotional seasoning. Example, any necessary matters can go through this email during business hours. Avoid jade. The more you explain, the more raw material they have to spin. With messengers, keep person, issue channel, thanks for relaying. I handle item A with B via email X. Digitally, install emotional shock absorbers. Disable read receipts. Hide stories from custom lists. Delay posts 24-48 hours. No real-time location tags. Block alt fake accounts. Treat every bell ring, snide comment, ambiguous, check-in, jealousy, bait photos as a signal, not a truth. Post an anchor card where you'll see it. 1, 3 reasons you left. 2, 5 signs you're healthier since no contact. 3, 2 default reply lines. When the urge to respond spikes, do 20 minutes of urge surfing. The wave drops if you don't fuel it with action. Jung reminds us projection is always nearby. They'll slap cold or cruel on you to justify ringing the bell. Don't argue to fix the label. Let your consistency define you. Each non-reaction pulls a brick from their manipulation machine. Each disciplined response pours more concrete into individuation, the return to your healthy center. And when the bell no longer rings, the bell ringer loses the stage. You don't need to win with words, you win with steady rhythm. The irreplaceable script, proving you can't live without them. The irreplaceable script is their favorite role. I'm one of a kind. You'll fall apart without me. When you go no contact, this storyline gets pushed to the extreme. They flaunt a perfect new love, drop lines like, I'm the only one who really understands you, and revive old memories as proof you'll eventually come back. Through Carl Jung's lens, this is ego inflation. A swollen ego seeking external validation to avoid facing the shadow. Emptiness, fear of being forgotten. They use projection to stick labels on you, dependent, not self-sufficient, while they're the ones needing you as a mirror to feel valuable. The goal isn't reconciliation. It's to prove the thesis that you can't live without them, then use that evidence to reassert control. The antidote isn't arguing or comparing yourself to the new partner. It's living proof that you're still rising. Use the Thrive framework. T, track, progress. Keep an 8-week journal on sleep, nutrition, exercise, focus, and anxiety frequency. Every improvement is a data point that dismantles their claim. Heal, structured healing. Therapy, support groups, 4-6 breathing. Write down 5 old beliefs to replace. This is for you, not to prove anything to anyone. R, rebuild. Rebuild core habits, work routines, finances, skills. Each habit is a brick in the foundation of self-reliance. I, invest. Invest in healthy bonds. 3, nourishing connections, a close friend, a mentor, a community, and regular dates with yourself to reconnect with your own dreams. V, verify boundaries. Set the channel, hours, scope for any necessary contact, if any. Do not respond to anything else. E, emerge. You don't need to announce it, just live. Let your schedule, consistency, and daily calm be the message. For required communication, use gray rock plus broken record. I don't compare personal lives. Any necessary matters can go through this email. Avoid jade. Justify, argue, defend, explain. The more you explain, the more data you hand them to fortify their script. When they parade a new love, don't dissect it. Treat it as a mirror move meant to provoke jealousy. Return to verifiable reality. Today you trained for 20 minutes, ate a solid meal, finished 1 task, slept 7 hours each. Small act is a vote for who you're becoming. At Jungian depth, this is individuation at work. You withdraw energy from someone else's stage and return it to your healthy center. Irreplaceable is just an ego myth. When you stop playing the counter role, the myth dissolves. Suggested reply when guilt-baited, I choose peace and autonomy. My life is led by me. Repeated brief with no excess emotion. Every day you live well is a program that uninstalls their script. And what they can't stand most is that you keep breathing, growing, and smiling without them. This content is educational, always prioritize personal and legal safety. You've seen the full picture now. When you choose no contact, the mask persona falls, the shadow shows, and every move on the other side, reclaiming supply, ambushing for power, silent retaliation, undermining your confidence, staging public theater, testing boundaries, spying for data, ringing the emotional bell, and the irreplaceable myth is just a variation of one need. To keep you in the old script. Through Carl Jung's lens, your journey isn't about defeating someone else, it's about returning to your healthy center individuation. When you pull energy out of the projection game and give it to your boundaries, your nervous system learns a new rhythm, calm, structured, clear. Carry these 3 truths. Knowledge is defense. Name the tactic, and you're less likely to get pulled in. Boundaries are the shield. They don't require the permission of someone who benefited from chaos. Consistency is the finisher. Gray rock, broken record, written-only communication, and digital hygiene turn every lure into an empty echo. If you still feel unsteady today, it doesn't mean you're weak. It simply means certain complexes, emotional knots, are being touched. Come back to what you can control. 4-6 breathing for 2 minutes. Delay replies 24-72 hours. Write down 3 reasons you left and 5 signs you've been better since going silent. Each small act is a brick poured into the foundation of autonomy. And once the foundation is solid, every attack becomes loud but powerless. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to stay on the journey. On this channel, we'll keep unpacking narcissistic behavior through Jungian thinking, and more importantly, we'll move from knowing to doing. Safe communication patterns, short response scripts, a digital boundary hygiene checklist, and daily micro-exercises so your nervous system relearns safety. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and drop a comment. Which part makes you want to practice today? I'll pick specific questions to answer in next week's video. If you know someone stuck in a manipulation loop, share this video. Sometimes a timely concept can change the entire recovery trajectory. Important note: this content is for education and empowerment, not a substitute for therapy or legal advice. If safety is at risk, Contact authorities and appropriate professionals first. We honor fair use by analyzing, commenting, and creating new value, not copying any source verbatim. You don't have to prove anything to them. You only have to prove to yourself little by little each day that peace is a choice you can repeat. See you in the next video.